Well, welcome everybody. There's actually a lot more people here than I thought there was going to be. I'm not one for public speaking, but since I've been hiding in the machine, I thought I should come and say hello. I'm Matt, so this is my gallery, and so some of you might remember we had a space a few blocks back in Clifton Hill, which we timed a couple of years prior to COVID, and as everyone remember, the art suffered pretty badly in that period, and we struggled on, but unfortunately the landlord patience ran out, and unfortunately we had to abandon that. And I think I was thinking about reopening it at some stage, and it was just one of those things that just kept getting pushed further and further down the line. And my girlfriend Dinah, who's been helping out tonight with all the tokens and everything, so thank you, Dinah. She was asking me once why I didn't do the gallery, and I rattled off all these amazing reasons, you know, that Melbourne's in the toilet, and Dan Andrews, and as I went on, I was like, this is starting to just sound like an excuse, and kind of there and then on the spot I decided, well, there's probably time to start the gallery. And these two amazing artists were coming over in August, and so in very quite didn't give them a lot of notice. We were planning on doing something a lot smaller, but we thought what a great way to for the rebirth of the gallery than with these two guys. So Adam, some people might know as my tea sensei, and anyone who knows anything about the Japanese form of education, it goes much more than a teacher, and he's had an enormous influence on my life and continues to have an enormous influence on my life. But one thing with Adam is he dedicates so much of his own time to other people, so I don't really want to talk about him as a sensei tonight. Tonight is about celebrating him and his amazing partner Akitsu. And when I was trying to formulate a speech, and I ran out of time, so I'm ad-libbing. But one of the main reasons why I opened the gallery and why we have this strange format and everyone's got to buy a ticket and you got to wait in line at the silly drink machine was about changing the thinking around an exhibition. I think a lot of us who go to shows, you wander in, you wander out, you might have a cheap drink, and I think a lot of the time it's missed how much work goes into these exhibitions and how long these artists toil away at their work. And so it was sort of an idea of reframing what an exhibition could be and more of a celebration. And I'm also an artist, but I hate openings. I hate the small talk, I hate the anxiety of who's going to come, you're going to sell enough work in the gallery to get another show. And I used to judge the success of a show based on sales, and after doing it for many years I realised how stupid that was. And you put all this work in, you do an amazing show, and just because you don't sell that well, you're like, well, that was a complete failure. So I tried to imagine a way of doing it that is more of a celebration for the artists, but also for people to, I guess, maybe enjoy the evening a little bit more. And there's a great book by Lewis Hyde. It's called The Gift, and the book is basically about the true value of art is actually the sharing of it. That's the exchange and the sharing of the art is actually what we should cherish. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get to here. So not only to appreciate the work, but also that you guys get to experience I guess bringing a little bit more art into your life. I think we need a bit more art in our life, and I think Melbourne definitely needs a bit more art in its life. And so that's what we're trying to do tonight. A few thank yous to Ronnie and Gal, who made the amazing benches and everything, all the support that they give to these guys. River, thank you for your amazing t-shirts. And I just want to also talk about these guys as a bit of a power creative couple. Generally, as I've heard from partners, and my dad's an artist, so I've heard from my mother for years how much of a pain in the butt it is to go out with an artist or to be married to one. And a lot of the time, even with creative couples, one of the partners suffers. If you think about Hollick and Lee Krasner, her career was pretty much on hold until his passing. But it's actually really a nice experience for me to get to see these guys work against each other. They're both very strong personalities, but to see them sort of drive each other on, and also to find a form where I think both their works really support each other's practice. And I think just what amazing lives you lead. Like, I think the artwork of you two guys is the way you live your life, and it's completely dedicated dedicated to the art. So I'm very grateful that you decided to show with us, and it's wonderful to have you here. I'm going to shut up and jump behind the machine again. Thank you so much for supporting the gallery and these guys. I really appreciate you coming out, and thank God it didn't rain. Enjoy the